Okay. I know we said last episode was episode 5. This is actually episode 5. The B Brothers. Alex B.
What's up? Your math is obviously off. I mean, I lost track.
Well, you're the one that said episode 5 first. I just went along with it, man.
Blame it on the old man. I get it.
Classic narcissistic movement there by Miles B. Textbook, man. Exciting week for the B Brothers show. I know we're a day late, but lives and schedules get in the way, so we're putting this one out on a Thursday afternoon. But both personally for me and then for the show, we are live on the All Indiana Podcast Network page. Real exciting.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting. I saw that at work today, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see another way people can access the program and stuff. So I'm definitely stoked. Right.
Something to definitely be stoked about. So let's check this out though. Alan Hall is awesome. He's the one that heads all of this up. He's the one that puts all the stuff up. But we gotta take a look at something real quick here. So this is the All Indiana Podcast Network site. And as we're scrolling down here, we see News 8 Daily, we see Daybreak, and then we have something of Faith. With our buddy Randy Ollis, and then the B Brothers show, and then politics. So
that's quite a mashup. Quite a mashup.
Yeah, you got your Faith, you got the B Brothers show, and you got politics right in the middle.
Now, eventually, we'll probably be at the bottom of that stack. There's no doubt in my mind. I hope not either. But I mean, reality could be dealing us a soft blow there and say, you got to be down here.
It could be. Other exciting stuff, man. We're working on launching the website. We got a little stuff going on right now. Check it out. You can head to themilesbshow.com/the B Brothers Show. We're going to be getting our own domain soon, but we wanted a landing page for now. You can come check out the latest audio, the latest video, and if you scroll down a little bit, everything we've ever done on the page video-wise. So pretty exciting to get some collateral out there and some material. The show's growing, and it's growing fast, Alex.
It's growing like weeds. I hope
weeds.
In a good sense. In a good sense.
Like a legal in Illinois sense.
Yes, I love it here. Honest to God, I'm not going to lie.
I am mad at you. Well, maybe I am just a little bit.
It's pretty crazy because literally, and I really, it's not a lot, but their dispensaries are everywhere. Where you didn't think about that like growing up because, such a taboo thing or whatever. And now it's so commonplace. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, even in the states where it's not legal, like here in Indiana, it's just socially acceptable now. People talk about it at work.
It really is. It isn't like this, this deep, dark, dirty secret that it was so many years ago. I had an idea about the show. Okay. Since now you got us on this All Indiana Podcast Network, I think we should submit material to Hollywood to be writers on a show. Let me tell you why. Okay. I don't know if you paid any attention. There was a writer strike going on in Hollywood that they're just now, getting back together. Okay. So a lot of the talk shows and stuff were on. So when this first happened, Drew Barrymore said that she was going to go back to taping her show during the strike. Okay. The writers got mad, blah, 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 blah. They're like, man, you can't do that. So she did an about face and said, never mind. Even though I think her show's not all that good. Maybe if we were writing for it, it'd be better. So that's just kind of a pleaded. So now that the writer's strike is over, all 3 of her head writers quit.
All 3 of them?
Yeah, they were so mad because she never did tape an episode because there was so much backlash about saying she was going to go back, and start taping that she never even that part never even happened. But there's trio. 2 of one named Chelsea White, the other one's Christina Kinnan. They write for the show, and Liz Coe have all quit.
That's insane. So she did all of this stuff against the writer's strike, and then now the strike's ended. Correct? Am I right?
Yeah,
there?
And it never happened. She never did tape any episodes.
And so now no strike.
Yeah,
the strike's over. She has whatever she would have had and she still has yet to tape a show. Why? Like, that doesn't even make sense. You got to help me understand this, man.
I don't know. I don't know, but could you imagine being on strike this whole time if you're a writer and then quit your gig? That's kind of crazy. But
that'd be really weird.
But there's a lot of these, and you've been seeing it now. You saw with Ellen DeGeneres, okay? That whole backlash right there took her off the air. Let's face it. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now you had, there's some things going on with Jimmy Fallon. They say, he's kind of a boozer stuff. So a lot of these people, that signed NDAs that were like slaves to Hollywood, I think you're going to see a lot more of that coming up. They're like, wait a minute, this person isn't, everybody knows Hollywood's a fast-paced environment. So you only hope that it's just maybe people overreacting because of the stress of doing live television. But I think there's going to be more and more as years go on of these people, and I don't think nothing's gonna happen with him. I mean, he is the cash cow for NBC, but it's just crazy how a lot of these people are coming forward and saying, "No, man, you can't do that. Can't talk, no." And then that's the way it is. I think we could write for a TV show. I think.
Oh, so. We absolutely could. We could write. I mean, have you watched the WB or whatever it is nowadays? Yeah. CW4.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's bad.
It kind of reminds you like of a upgraded basic cable back in the day, like like Wings would expect to see like a truck sitting in somebody's driveway and the guy going 3, 2, and that's kind of what it reminds you of.
Everything on there right now is superheroes to the tune of One Tree Hill, basically.
Oh, okay, I see that. I'm like, okay, wow.
Yeah, what if Superman had 2 high school boys?
Yeah, exactly. You look at some of the stuff that's out.
I mean,
I don't know. And then they remake television shows. They try to do Wonder Years and a bunch of other things, and they just tanked, man. It's like I just hope with all this time the writers have been off. I just hope that when all the shows come back, that there's some really good good storylines, good plots, or whatever. Because there's been no new episodes on some of these shows or whatever. And then I just hope when we come back, SNL, Fallon, whoever, that y'all was thinking of something, because if you're going to give us the same stuff that's going to force us to watch like The Challenge, then that's just the way it is.
I mean, they've got to have some good stuff in the pipe. They've had this long to just basically sit and think about what they want to do with their shows. I'm sure they've written and rewritten them 100 times in that time. I can't imagine. But we'll see. I mean, TV sucks these days. There's a handful of shows that are worth watching, but 99% of it is trash.
It really is. It really is. I just, people say I DVR a lot of stuff, and then we have like, binge watching on, Sunday afternoon or whatever, because I just can't sit still that long. DVR, you can pause it, you can do whatever. I mean, I'm all over the place, and there hasn't been anything that's captivated me. Ozarks did. I mean, I loved Ozark. I've watched that beginning to end. Like that's one of those ones I would like be glued for. Sopranos, some good, good written stuff and good storylines or whatever, and then now there's just nothing out there that to me. I mean, I watch Big Brother. I think that's hilarious.
Man, we've cut the cable. We do streaming on everything, and we've got like some of our old favorite shows that we enjoy watching. We watch again, like Supernatural, Evil, which is hopefully going to have a new season now that the writer's strike is over. Stuff like that, man. I mean, we really don't watch live TV unless it's sports, and if I can't tune into that on the old bunny ears, then right now. It's just too expensive, man. Like, and cable's just not good anymore.
It really is. And now everything's streaming. Before it was actually cable, was coming down RF.
Right.
And now everything's streamed. So they're cramming all this information, down a cable, unless you have fiber. And then it's just, I don't know, the compression and stuff that's involved with it. I don't know. My biggest thing here with the internet here is that not the download speeds, but the upload. And
yeah, I've seen your horror stories. I don't have those problems here.
No, but see, but I actually, one of the supervisors from Spectrum, cool guy, said he knew what was going on. I go, look, I know most people, want fast downloads, and I got fast downloads, but I also have to do uploading for the podcast. I have to do uploading for FanDuel, so I need a little bit more. I'm not going to pay for a commercial thing. I mean, it should be. I've done plenty of readings, and I always do do you unplug the modem? You do this, all that stuff that they have their little checklist on. I already did that.
Well, so and the crazy thing about upload speed, too, that's being used right now. It's your presentation. It's your live video, right? Your upload speed, like if your camera freezes up, like it does every now and then, that's your upload speed, man.
Yep.
Like in the world we live in now, of remote workers and Zoom meetings and all of that, you have to have a halfway decent upload speed, or you're as cooked as not having internet at all in a lot of scenarios.
And then is your employer going to pay for that? Because, like you said, like for us, we have cameras. Okay, that's upload,
right?
Because you've got security cameras going on, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it does. I don't think people realize that upload, especially now, like you just said, in the age of Zoom meetings and staying at home and all this other stuff, upload's just as important as download.
Yeah,
it is.
Absolutely.
It is.
So check this out, man. I know we don't typically do a lot of sports on the midweek, but this is sports related. I saw this and I couldn't pass it up. So here's how the article starts, all right? A Pennsylvania man has struck out in his attempt to bring his emotional support animal to a Philadelphia Phillies baseball game. So the world we live in, Alex, right? Like emotional support animals, they have to be welcome even when places aren't. So get this. Here's why. I'm going to reread that line and reread it verbatim instead of filling it out. A Pennsylvania man has struck out in his attempt to bring his emotional support alligator to a Philadelphia Phillies game. Joey Henney went to Citizens Bank Park on Wednesday hoping to see the Phillies beat the Pirates, but he wasn't alone. Along with him was his 5-foot-long emotional support alligator, Wally Gator.
No,
who he adopted in 2015 and has become a popular animal on Instagram and TikTok. Dude, so first of all, I got to throw this picture up here of the alligator, right? It's off of Twitter, right? Are you kidding me? A Phillies fan tried to come into the game tonight with what they said was a service animal, an alligator. Yes, an alligator. Things I've never seen. This is it. That's from Howard Eskin on Twitter.
There's a big difference between a service animal and an emotional support animal, and I think they're categorized different because an actual service animal for people that are visually impaired or whatever can perform functions, guide them in the right direction. Emotional support, I don't know. I mean, I know I have some friends that have emotional support dogs or whatever. I know there's horses out there because I see that. The alligator, nah, man, I don't know if I can get down. Man, I would flip out.
How is an alligator emotionally supportive? Like, what do? Cuddle up to it? I mean, those cold scales probably remind me of an ex-wife or two, to be honest with you. Oh man!
Oh, wow.
But seriously,
did somebody say obscure? Oh, sorry.
Anyway, no.
Okay.
But seriously, like, how do you get emotional support from an alligator? Like,
you ever heard the term crocodile tears? Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think if anything, if we didn't learn anything, okay, if somebody like Steve, and I refer back to this, it's been years. If somebody like Steve Irwin, who's handled every type of animal known to man, gets there and gets stabbed from a freaking from a stingray, all bets are off. That alligator, he's going to take one chomp out of your hand, and you're going to look like Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be walking around like this with a nub instead of a hand because for some reason you find comfort in this big scaly animal. I don't get it.
Breaking out the Chubbs reference. Adam Sandler. It's funny, too. He's coming to town in a couple of months, man. It's the first time he's been here in a long time. I think it's in November. That's pretty awesome, man.
He's a funny dude. I mean, he's definitely him. All that part of the Saturday Night Live alumni. Him. Not so much Spade and like Rob Schneider because they've all pretty much dragged off him. But Pete Davidson's a really funny dude. He's funny too. So I think it's good. It's good to see that. I mean, I don't know if I could sit still for a comedy show. Where are they playing at? They're not playing at the Field House?
I think it's at the Field House. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's either the Field House or Lucas Oil. Right now, it's Gamebridge Life, I believe, is who currently owns the rights.
Okay, I just call it Field House, just like everybody still calls Deer Creek Deer Creek. Nobody's paying attention to the sponsor. It's always Deer Creek. Out here, it's always Riverport Amphitheater. It's not Hollywood. It's just that's the way, that's the way it is. All right, listen to this. What if? If you could have an emotional support animal that was not a dog, which is typically what they are, what would be your pick?
Ooh. Not a dog, emotional support animal.
Yeah. In other words, what kind of pet would you find comfort in if you could, and if it wasn't a dog, if you needed one?
It definitely wouldn't be a cat because we've got several of those, and those have the emotional support abilities of. We won't even go down that road.
My cat's a dick. So.
Yeah. Cats are jerks. There's no doubt about it. Man, that's a good question. Emotional support animal. I think I would probably want like a koala or something. I know those things are mean as hell, but
they got like razor claws, bro.
Yeah, but like they sit and they hug you and they hold you and they like just you feed them a stick and a leaf and like that would be fun.
Don't believe
Little Mitch Hedberg reference for you. I want a koala infestation. It would be the cutest infestation ever.
No, see, I would want to be like reincarnated like as a goat because I can just sit there, go to the bathroom wherever I want. I can just eat and graze in the field. I don't want to be an emotional. I would want to have an emotional support goat because I love goats.
I was about to say, how do you go from what would your emotional support animal to be to like I want to be? Listen, man, you're already halfway there. You already eat everything in sight. So
I do. I eat one. I'm not gonna lie.
And when you get laughing really hard, it is kind of bye. Man, I wish I had a goat sound effect right now.
See, eventually you'll get to my level. Eventually, everything takes time. So I was reading in Variety magazine that Joey Fatone. Okay, there's been all these rumors about NSYNC. So Joey Fatone was getting interviewed for Variety magazine and said that he was caught off guard when Timberlake went solo. Not that Timberlake went solo, but didn't come back. I'm like, bro, did you see Michael going back to the Jacksons after Off the Wall? Nope. Okay. No, he's not going to come. No. Did you see George Michael put Wham back together?
In what world? Like Justin Timberlake was for like 5 years was like the absolute hottest thing on in music and entertainment. Like there was, no close second place. It's kind of like Taylor Swift is now. God help me. I'm so tired of hearing that name, and I'm sure everybody is. But
horrible.
But yeah, like I mean, there was how would that be surprising whatsoever?
Exactly.
There's no reason, no benefit. Now there's a benefit, right? It's 25 years later from that,
and they'll make money on it. If
they'll make a ton of money.
They'll make a ton of money.
Look at what the Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block did with their tour and their cruise.
Yeah,
they made so much cash.
Because the girls that saw them when they were growing up had like a fixed income, limited income of whatever their mom got or whatever they got from their job. Now these girls are in their 30s, 40s, okay, with more of a disposable income, and they're going to get paid. And when I read the story, I'm like, I'm sure Jermaine at one point went to Marlon and Tito, and go, man, Michael ain't coming back. And I would think the NSYNC guys did that because Michael didn't turn back around. He did some like one-off performances in Air Band, but once Off the Wall came out, which is before Thriller, which is actually to me a better album, he bounced. He's like, yeah, I'm out. And I don't think we should be surprised. Like you said, Timberlake's a talent. He's very funny with Jimmy Fallon.
Absolutely.
And that's just. But I think, would you go see him if they came to town?
Oh, hell yeah.
The wife want to go. I say you're a boy bander.
Yeah, man. I mean, here's the thing. I'm 41 years old. I don't need to have the guilty pleasure pride of liking, any type of music, whether it's, the hard rock and heavy metal that I normally listen to, or whether it's NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Hanson, whatever, man. I mean, that shit was like us growing up, right? Like, yeah. I mean, formative years, like whether I liked it then or not, I love it now. And I liked it then too. Like they've always been musically talented. I've always been a fan of single to multiple harmonies that make sense and that are creative. And
for sure.
And that's what they were. Like, obviously there was the craze of every girl and woman in the world screaming and all that craziness, right? But like, musically, it was good stuff. And it's way better than most of the stuff we're getting now.
Man, absolutely. And for me, who's just a little bit older, would be like New Edition, because like when you grew up in the region, New Edition still have stood the test of time. 30 some years or whatever. I mean, they've been back and forth. But yeah, you're right. I've always tell people this too about music, that if you put some craft into it, whether it's rap, whether whatever, I have respect for it. If you spend some time in a studio, like Kendrick Lamar, a brilliant lyricist, doesn't get necessarily the credit he deserves. Eminem, and I think because the way he
goated.
Here's the problem. The last CD was called, Music to Get Murdered By or something. It was like a really goofy title. And that's some of his best stuff. Like that's some of his best stuff out there. I mean, but if you put some effort into it, I'm all about it. If you just put out this crap like people do because they have obligations to the label or whatever. Now, look, people could say what they want about Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is a genius. There's certain people I call lyricists where they can put stuff together and, you can tell they're about that craft and for lack of a better term, about that life. And there's other guys that are just putting out records like Soldier Boy. Some of those clowns.
Right.
You're not,
Nickelback falls into that too. Everybody loves to hate on Nickelback, but they've been extremely successful for an extremely long time, and I don't care if 3 of their songs sound the exact same when you play them over each other. People are buying their albums, or now they're downloading their tracks. They're listening to them on Spotify or Apple or whatever.
Exactly.
Like they, I would be interested to see numbers and where they rank all time in album sales and clicks and listens and stuff like that, because for every one person that hates them, like, oh, Nickelback, there's 5 that love them.
Yep.
And they're musical geniuses, man.
They are. When the song "Bad Girlfriend" came out,
that's not them.
Like, no.
Okay.
Just pump the brakes.
Okay, brakes pumped. My bad.
Chad Kroeger produced that track.
So that's right. He did.
Yeah, but they're on the same label. So when everybody goes, oh, man, that song rocks, man, I play Bad Girlfriend. You do know the guy y'all are hating on, Chad Kroeger, produced that track. And they're like, oh. And when Leader of Men came out, which is the first record, because the guy was talking about being on shrooms, everybody thought they were cool. And much like Metallica, as soon as they put out a ballad or something that gets more of an acceptance, they're not cool anymore. Okay, you might not think it's cool, but they're laughing all the way to the bank.
All the way to the bank. And I mean, he did that thing with Josie Scott from Saliva for Spider-Man, the hero song. That was one of my favorites. So I still listen to that song. It's a great song, man. But it just goes to your point, right? Like, everybody wants to hate on Nickelback. And if I'm Chad Kroeger or any of the members of Nickelback, I'm sitting there in my bed in my $1 million house doing snow angels in my stack of hundos that I've got down on my mind on my money and my money on my mind, and the haters, right? Like, so
it's crazy. It really is. I'm like, these guys they're laughing, like you said, they're laughing all the way to the bank. And you think he cares? And a lot of people were like backing on him at first or whatever. It's just because, like, same thing with Metallica, perfect example. Oh man, ourselves, because the Black Album has been one of the biggest sold albums in their category, and they're like, man, they're sellouts. Or like when Van Halen, well, it was better with David Lee Roth, but they were more solid musicians when Sammy joined, because Sammy could play an instrument.
Absolutely.
And when they were doing albums like OU812 and that stuff, where they were like, all of them were doing the harmonies. That if you want a guy to jump around, then David Lee Roth's your guy. If you want serious musicianship, then obviously, I don't know how we jumped from Van Halen to Nickelback, but it's kind of in the same topic.
It's kind of like the description of the show goes. You're not sure what you're going to get, but you won't forget it, right?
No. So what else do you want to talk about? What else has just been kind of getting your goat?
Man, it's not that I want to talk about it. I feel like we have to talk about it.
You have to.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, even the man himself is sick of it, right? So this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce stuff, man, it's out of hand.
It's out of hand. It's insane, because everybody goes, she doesn't need the publicity. Okay, she made a lot of money on this tour. I'm sure you saw the story where she gave like each of her truck drivers like $100,000 bonus or something like really, really crazy. So she doesn't need the publicity. Now, if she was a Kardashian doing this, I'd be like, okay, something suspect. If she was like Kendall Jenner, okay, I get all that, but that's not.
I have a theory. Okay. I have a theory. I think that the NFL has hired Taylor Swift, and that maybe this whole relationship is either a farce or maybe it's real and they're just, using it for their benefit. Right. But I think that they're trying to appeal to an entirely different genre of people. Think about this. Here's an interesting stat for you, and it's not going to be specific because I heard this on a radio show earlier this week. I think it was on the morning show on 107.5 The Fan with Kevin and Andy now. So Taylor Swift has like 270 million followers on Instagram, I believe it was. The NFL has like 70 million. So she has 4 times the amount of followers on Instagram as, without a doubt, the single most popular, most followed, most controversial, most in the light professional sport in the United States right now. Obviously, we're going to take soccer out of that because that's a worldwide sport and there are hundreds of leagues, and I'm sure if you amassed all their followers, it would dwarf even Taylor Swift. But my point is like in America, Taylor Swift has 200 some odd million followers to the NFL's like 70-ish. right? So why not? And I bet you, of those 200 million followers, less than 10% of them follow the NFL as well.
I think you're probably right.
So think about that, though. Like, I mean, I would do it in a heartbeat. Like, I would have someone here locally, Andrew Young, for instance.
Yeah.
He's got a huge following that doesn't follow us. Why not tap into that potential, right? And with the NFL, they probably paid her millions of dollars if this is true, right? This is all speculation, obviously.
Right.
This is just me and an opinion piece here and something that I've kind of started thinking recently. But like, why not pay, say, $20 million and say, hey, you guys are already in this relationship, or let's fake this relationship, or whatever it is.
Right.
And I want you to come to X amount of games. You come to one in Kansas City. You come to one in the heart of the United States in New York against the Jets, right? And you announce that you're coming. You don't just show up unexpectedly. People expected for her to come. Like, why not just show up if you're the dude's girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're dating, right?
Why
you don't have to put out a press release that I'll be at the Kansas City New York Jets game this week.
Yeah.
Like, show up, you're going to get the normal publicity. That's why I think that there's some PR stunt behind this, whether it's
there has to be
as a result of the two of them being in a relationship and the NFL is keying in on that, or whether it's more a matter of this relationship is just a show for, $20 million. Obviously, they couldn't pay Travis Kelce to do this because it would violate the collective bargaining agreement.
But on the same token, though, every time, if you ever look at like Taylor Swift, just like, career and history, she's never been like in scandalous relationships. You know what I mean? The guys have always done her dirty. She writes a song about it, blah, 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 blah. I mean, the only time she's ever made any noise is when her and Scooter Braun were going at it as far as her publishing and stuff, catalog goes.
Right.
So it's, I can't see her like sitting down with like, the NFL or Jay-Z, whoever is, hey man, hook me up. Because it was funny. They asked her to do Super Bowl and she said no. And I like how some people say, man, da-da-da-da-da. I go, first of all, nobody gets paid for the Super Bowl. I'm sure we all know that by now. Nobody who performs at halftime gets paid.
It's pretty much volunteer.
It's pretty much volunteer. And if you've got somebody that's got 200-some million followers, she's made probably, I think, surpassed Beyonce this summer on her tour. Mm-hmm. She doesn't need to play 7 minutes of a halftime show. She doesn't. She has nothing to sell. She doesn't have a record to sell. She doesn't have a movie to promote. She's already made bank, and she's going to do the same thing again in 24.
She gains nothing from the NFL.
Nothing
except for camera time, right? Like, yep. I mean, but it's funny, even Travis Kelce, and I kind of mentioned this when we were warming into this segment, like, even Travis Kelce's like, guys, like, enough is enough. It is ridiculous that I can't listen to a sports show. I can't turn on ESPN. I can't turn on Fox Sports.
You can't listen to the B Brothers without
can't listen to the B Brothers without hearing or seeing Taylor Swift. Like, and shows like ours, we're supposed to talk about stuff like this, right? Mm-hmm. Because we talk about everything, and we're going to spend like 5 minutes of a 30-minute show on it. But like when you're talking about ESPN and Fox Sports and all these sports media outlets that are spending 30 to 40% of their shows. And we just cover random stuff here. Like, this is just a local podcast. We talk about random BS, and on Sundays we talk about some random BS and mostly the Colts. These guys have hockey and baseball and softball and soccer and NFL and racing. And I know it's that time of year where, things are starting to kick into gear for sports. So, like, basketball preseason starts like this Sunday, right? The NFL is in full swing. Baseball is in playoff time. And they're getting completely ignored right now for everything else. And baseball playoffs are the most wonderful time of the year, even if you're not a baseball fan.
It's American
It's
tradition.
like the Final Four, right? It's like college. Yeah. You don't have to be a college basketball fan or even like basketball to at least recognize how special the tournament is, right? Yeah, it's the same with the baseball playoffs. And all of this stuff is getting either quick hits or swept under the rug so that ESPN can talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And that goes further into my whole conspiracy theory that this is a PR stunt.
Yeah. If it is, will her fans be mad for like 2.2 seconds? They're still going to buy those overpriced tickets and go.
They don't care. She'll write a song about it and they'll buy it.
She'll write a song about it. She'll probably get a Grammy. Maybe he'll join her on stage. If it is genuine, but like you said, why this announce it? Why just go? Just show up. Like you shouldn't have to talk to your press agent or anybody else. Hey man, I'm gonna go to the game. It shouldn't be. Right. We shouldn't know every movement between the two of those people since this whole thing unfolded.
No,
that's just
no. I completely agree, man. But here's the thing. It's only been like, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks? It ain't going away anytime soon unless they break up, and then we'll talk about a month of that. She'll write her song False Start. Taylor Swift, the email is thebbrothersshow@gmail.com if you'd like to send me royalties when you do write that song.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to collaborate with you. You know, I am somewhat of a songwriter myself. We gotta get one shameless plug.
You can tell when it's getting to the end. You can tell when it's getting to the end.
And we're recording it at midday right now instead of like 8 or 10 o'clock at night. So we're not even slap happy. It just is what it is, man. All right, check it out, y'all. So the website's up right now, themilesbshow.com/thebbrothersshow. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on YouTube at The B Bros Show. Give us a follow, give us a subscribe.
For sure.
All Indiana Podcast Network is up. Alex B, it has been real. It has been fun, but it's been a little long. So we're going to say goodbye. I see you laughing, man. For those of you listening, Alex is a perv, but it's been the B Brothers. Alex, say goodbye. Goodbye. All right, y'all. Peace out. We'll see you Sunday after the Colts game.